So welcome everybody to Coffee with the Carlsons. Today we have a special guest, Tyler Smith with Premium Mortgage. And Tyler, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me here. My name is Tyler Smith. I've been in the mortgage business since 2009, and I work for Premium Mortgage. Premium Mortgage has an office in Miami, actually in Doral, and we're opening an office in Fort Myers in the next few months here. So very excited to be in the Southwest Florida market. Premium's based out of New York. This year they were just voted the fastest growing company in the region. And
Fantastic.
In years past, they've been voted, best place to work and things of that nature. So it's a veteran-owned company, and I'm very proud to work for Premium and help usher it into this area of Florida.
Awesome. Okay, so, we're doing this because right now everybody's getting ready to do their taxes and just kind of curious, is this a good time for somebody to use their tax refund as down payment to purchase a new home?
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's a great source. It was a forced savings account for a year, and I have access to it. I read something recently that a lot of people use that money to pay down credit cards. And investing in a home is a great idea as well. It's also a great time to prepare if you're thinking about buying a home, prepare for a pre-approval. Talk to your real estate agent, talk to your loan officer, because you have all these documents handy, 1099s and W-2s that you just gave to your accountant. Also, everybody's getting raises, bonuses, cost of living adjustments. You know exactly how much you make. I think it's just the perfect time to prepare for buying a home.
I agree. Because you've already put that all together to do your taxes, and then you can call your loan officer and just say, "Here, I've got all this ready for you."
Exactly.
Awesome. Okay. So what are some other good sources of down payment?
So aside from money that's just sitting in your checking or savings account, I think one of the most popular is a gift from a relative, that is. And a gift is called a gift because there's no expectation of repayment of that money to your relative.
Nice.
So especially popular with first-time home buyers right now.
Okay.
So
we hear that sometimes, just to add this in a little bit, we hear that sometimes from people who maybe would leave funds to someone, in their will or whatever. We've been hearing a lot more lately of people giving that to children or grandchildren ahead of time towards their home, which is fabulous because then they get to see them benefit from that.
Exactly. And I think that's a great source for purchasing a home, and everyone would want to make sure to check with their accountant, since it's tax season, about about gifting money and things of that nature. So.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, we're not CPAs, so
right.
We definitely don't want to give tax advice, right?
Right.
What about 401k? Can you use 401k funds to help with your down payment?
Yeah, that's also very popular. Obviously, everybody's 401k is doing really well, and from what I've seen in the past, it seems like there's a lot of companies do have a provision for home purchase. You can take a loan from your 401k. You certainly, would want to cash out your 401k, but you can take a loan from it, pay yourself back interest, so you can continue to grow your wealth. And that's a perfectly acceptable source of your down payment and closing costs. Also very popular.
Wonderful. And what about home equity loans? Is that a lot of people want to do a home equity loan, but what are the I would say the pluses and minuses for that?
Yeah, so let's say, for instance, you're gearing up to sell your home and you want to buy another home, and you're trying to tap into the equity in your current home to buy that other home. Well, a home equity, unfortunately, if you haven't got one already, it may be too late, just because, if your house is listed for sale, generally speaking, you can't get a home equity line of credit or a home equity loan. However, Premium Mortgage does offer a bridge loan, which is short-term financing, exclusively for this type of situation. So if you don't necessarily want to be contingent on the sale of your home, you could take out a bridge loan, a short-term, interest-only payment loan for 6 to 12 months. Put that down on your new home. And when you go to sell your existing home, you pay off the bridge loan and whatever other financing you might have. However, if you do have a home equity in place already, I mean, and it it's not at its limit, I mean, I think that's another great source as well.
Okay,
So,
fantastic.
yeah.
And what are some things that are not good to use for down payment, or that you can't use that people might think that that you can?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you've been saving money up and you've been saving it in your mattress. Unfortunately, that would not be an acceptable source of funds.
Right.
So cash that you have saved up in hand. I mean, certain mortgage programs allow for a certain amount of cash on hand. Some mortgage programs allow for seasoned money and things of that nature. But generally speaking, you cannot source where that money came from. You can tell us where it came from, but you can't document a paper trail of where that money came from. And the concern there is you didn't borrow that money, you didn't get from an illicit source. So cash is really not an acceptable source of funds, unfortunately.
Okay. All right. Are there any other down payment assistance programs available that you're familiar with?
Sure. Florida Housing Finance Agency does have what they call DPALs, down payment assistance loans. They can go towards down payment, closing costs, things of that nature. They're generally income driven. You have to be a first-time home buyer. And the income limits are based on census data from the year prior. It's usually 80% of the median income for the past year for that county. So, Lee County as well. Lee County itself has a program, and it has similar income requirements, first-time home buyer, purchase price requirements, things like that.
Okay.
So.
Well, and speaking of purchase price, I think that was it FHA. The loan limits have increased this year.
Yeah. So Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have increased their maximum loan limit from $548,250 up to $647,200, and
Okay.
it's really just a sign of the times and the market. It's a good thing because anything beyond that loan limit is considered a jumbo loan, which have
right.
different parameters. And it's going to continue to help homeowners obtain conventional financing.
And Tyler, what about after closing, if the house needs any repairs or roof, things like that? Because we are seeing that a lot lately.
Yeah. So let's say you're a first-time home buyer and you put minimal money down, and you all of a sudden discover you have a roof problem or a mechanical issue. I mean, I encourage everybody to go to their local municipality for post-closing assistance, essentially, favorable loan terms for improvements to your house, especially things that might be an emergency, such as a roof or a mechanical issue.
Plumbing, something like that.
Exactly. And me personally, like when I bought my first home, I needed a new roof, and it was very expensive, and I couldn't afford it. It was either that or a credit card. So I went to my local housing finance agency, and they afforded me a 20-year loan with a very low interest rate, and I got my roof done.
Wow.
So
that's great.
It's always there's places in Florida that allow for that kind of thing. So I think that's wonderful.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anything else you'd like to share with us before we wrap it up?
Interest rates.
Oh, interest rates. Yeah, we're hearing a lot about that. Thank you for reminding me. We're hearing a lot of buzz kind of around the community on our interest rates going up, and how will that affect people qualifying for a loan?
So interest rates are still historically low, which is important to remember. According to an article on Mortgage News Daily that I read last night, actually, an economist for Freddie Mac quoted, quoting this from the article, "Do not expect mortgage rates to spiral higher." And that's understood to be for the next year and year after that even. So
that's
I think,
good news.
Hearing about Fed rate hikes and tapering, people think that, the world's ending and things like that. But in fact, people are coming out and saying that, everything is going to be fine. So I don't think there's really any cause for concern. Again, rates are historically low. Check with your loan officer. Always be prepared in advance of putting an offer in on a home, and get pre-approved and find out what the interest rates are, because they change day to day.
They do change
So-
day to day. Well, Tyler, we really appreciate your time today. And if people have more questions or they would like to get pre-approved, we're going to put a link down below that they can contact you. But if you want to go ahead and give us your...
Yeah. So I can be reached on my cell phone typically, which is 716 area code 343-5683. And also my email address is trsmith@premiummortgage.com. And I'm happy to speak to anybody about any situation they might have. I mean, you don't necessarily need to call me because you're ready to get pre-approved. If you have any questions about anything, Laurie and we've seen it all. So, you can think of us as your house hunting therapist. You can tell us anything. So feel free to give me a call.
Okay. Thanks so much.